Taehyung says while glaring to her. So you want to see me changing clothes? Yin nodded her head, Hod slowly, with a weird smile, because she doesn't know. What? She replies as Taehyung glare on her turn into death glare. Taehyung chuckle, and says, so, my little vixen, try to be bold. Huh, let's see how much bold you are. He turned to Yin as he sees Yin eyes was on his bare chest. Taehyung says, do you want to see me shirtless? Yin again nodded her head as yes. Taehyung says, are you sure? Yin replied, yes, because she wants Taehyung remove his shirt. After that she will see his injury. Yin was waiting for Taehyung to remove his shirt. Yin says in shock, did you lose your mind, Tae? What are you doing? Taehyung reply with smirk, you are the one who wanted to see it. Gbod Yin frightened by his word and says, Tae please let me go. Taehyung reply, why so hurry, my dear our Wi-Fi? You are the one who wanted to see me while changing clothes, then why are you leaving? In the middle, you are the one who start, let me finish it. Yin tried to remove Tae's hands from her waist, but Tae grabbing more and more by her try. He look at DP into her eyes as her brie at cheating heavy. He remove his only hand from Yin waist and take towards her neck, which is covered with Yin long silky hair. He aside her entire hair into left side, as her bare neck is fully visible in front of him, as Yin feel shiver down in her spine by his sudden touch, as she try to move from there, as she can feel his OT desire. After hearing Taehyung, I freeze up, get numb completely for a while. Yin POV, I am not going to stay with Taehyung for long. I will give you divorce as soon as possible. But still, I don't know why. I don't want want to lose you. I shake my head as no. As Taehyung smirked to hearing my words, she doesn't know what she says, what she does. Her mind is completely affected by Taehyung. WOR. She was fighting with her inner soul. Oni side she doesn't want to lose him, and another side. She is completely ready to give him divorce for his own good. She completely lost in her thoughts. But suddenly she come out by her thoughts when Taehyung She feels weird sensation inside her. She doesn't know it's good or bad, but she didn't stop him somehow. She also know he is a man. He also has some needs and expectation from his life partner, which she can't give him. Taehyung notice Yin doesn't stopping him. Taehyung says, so my wife doesn't want me to go. Others woman to fix it. Huh. She didn't say anything. I don't know why my eyes is get tears by all of this, and his WORDs and his action. After he done, I try to go away from him, but he doesn't let me go. He turned her towards him, for face her. He saw her red face and tears in her moist eyes. He touched her cheek gently, for give her a soft peck on her cheek. But the next word of Yin make him boil in anger. Yin says, are you done humiliating me? Or do you want to play with my BOD again? She says with no motion.
As she SL at PS Taehyung even though she does not want to, his hands turn into fist. T Euro F. Euro D in her eyes thinking about consequences of her action, he was stunned. Silence like calm before the storm, his eyes turn into dark bloody shooting. He rise his hand toward YN as YN close her eyes tightly and Faye at artfully and W at itting for. Extremely P it in on her chick which will given by Taehyung. But she F inch by her Al 0 would be at NG beside of her HAED as he slam his right hand against D. The mirror, hearing the sound of glass breaking. YN opens her eyes in P at Nick. And sees Taehyung punching the mirror wall continuously. Mirror was already broken into pieces and shattered on the floor, but he non-stop punching, angry without caring about his hand, which was already injured and blooding. YN was N0T in her sense, she was just scared, and scared YN was very scared to see Taehyung so angry, and she wanted to go away and de herself where Taehyung could not find her. She was not in her sense what was going there. Day by day her mental scaredness state has been increasing as affected by all of this. She was about to run out the room, but she stopped seeing Taehyung blooding hand and come into her sense. Her body is shaking in fear, but still she go towards him and try to stop him. YN says in mumbling voice, Tae, please, say stop, stop punching. Don't, RT, yourself, but Taehyung don't listen her. He was venting out all his anger and frustration by punching the wall, and his punching sound is vibrating in the room. She was 5 steps away from him. YN didn't have the dare to go more closer to Taehyung. Her legs is wobbling. YN is unable to stand on her feet for long, and her feet give up and she falls on the floor. Due to falling down, YN gets glass fragments in her forearm, but she was not in a condition to see her injury. She press her knees to her chest and hides her head behind her knees and covers her ears with both her hands so that she cannot hear the sound of Taehyung's punch, and she was start crying badly in fear, along with mumbling between her sobs, Tae, please stop hurting yourself. I am scared, YN was repeating her same words again and again while crying. After some time, Taehyung stops punching because he does not hear any movement of YN in the room. When he looks back, he thinks that YN has gone out of the room. But when he looks back, he sees YN was crying on floor. He thought she was just acting. Then his eyes goes to the YN forearm where pieces of glass had pierced her arm, and she was bleeding from there. Taehyung immediately goes to her and, kneeling on the ground, tries to remove the shards of glass from In's forearm. He sees how much she was scared of this, as YN hides her head behind her knees and cover her ears from hands. When Taehyung touch her forearm to remove the shards of glass, she flinch, but doesn't move from her place and position, because YN did not know that her hand was hurt. After removing all the shards of glass from her forearm, Taehyung out her head from her knees. He sees her red face with teary eyes. As soon as YN eyes meet Taehyung eyes, she embraces him rightly. As much as she can, she clings into his chest and says, don't hurt yourself, please. Don't, please. I will not do that again. I will not slap you again. I am sorry. Taehyung didn't say anything, but he can feel her body shivering in fear of something horrible. Suddenly she breaks the huge because she feels something wet on her cheek from Taehyung's chest. She touched his chest to see what was that, as she touched it by her hand and found it. Her hand starts shaking that it was Taehyung blood. YN says, BL, blood, ass. Continuously tears dropping from her eyes. Taehyung look at YN's shaking hand as he knows how much she was sensitive and naive. He takes her towards the washroom basin and make her wash blood from her hand. He saw some blood on her cheek. He gently cleaned there also. Taehyung says, remove your clothes. After hearing Taehyung, she again looked at him with her fearful doe eyes. Taehyung coming towards her as she back off while tighten her grip on her frock, which was already hanging on her shoulder because Taehyung already unzipped her frock. YN says again in anger, I hate you. Taehyung clench his hands in anger and says, remove your clothes before I give you more reason to hate me. Taehyung says while going out the bathroom. After 5 minutes, Taehyung came into bathroom and saw YN was still st at ending at the S at me place where he had seen her. Taehyung go towards her as YN trying to run out the B at room, but SS. She says while tighten her grip on her frock as Taehyung sees her eyes again. G it throwing tears. Taehyung says while hand over her a new frock from her clothed room, change your clothes and bath. She didn't say anything and Taehyung leave the bathroom while closing the door shut. After that Taehyung calls the doctor for change his bandage, which is soaked in blood, and calls a servant to clean the broken glass. After 15 minutes YN come out the bathroom while drying her wet hair on towel. Then her eyes goes to the doctor who is sitting in bed next to Taehyung, and removing Taehyung bandage from his injured shoulder arm. In's eyes were stuck only on Taehyung's injured hand. She again wanted to see how badly he was hurt. Doctor says to Taehyung while checking his wounds, Mr. Kim, I warned you last time to take care of your hands, but looking at your injury, it doesn't look like you took even the slightest care of your hands. Now look what happened, the stitches on your hand has opened. I will have to sew it up again and it will be very painful. Doctor, you have lost a lot of blood. I will have to give you a blood transfusion. Taehyung says, do whatever you want but do it quickly, he said directly to the doctor because Taehyung wanted to bandage his hands before YN came out of the bathroom. Taehyung did not want YN to see the blood on his hands again, because he knew that if YN saw it, she would be sad and guilty again. Thinking all this, Taehyung looks towards the bathroom door and realizes that YN has already come out of the bathroom and he sees how her eyes were on his injured hand. Taehyung says to YN, go and prepare dinner for me, I am hungry. He asks her to go and cook so that she can get distracted. But he know YN is stubborn. YN replied directly, I already prepared dinner, I will give you food after the doctor bandage your wounds. Hearing In's voice, the doctor turns towards her and says, hello Mrs. Kim, how are you feeling now, is your head still spinning? YN says with a small smile while trying to be normal, no, I am fine. Having said this, she goes towards Taehyung on the bed because no matter how much she tries to appear normal, deep inside she is still afraid of unknown Pers 0N. Doctor about to start stitches on Taehyung wounds. Taehyung says to YN go out of the room. YN questions, why? Taehyung answer, because I am saying just go out. YN reply, I willn't go until your bandage, she says and sit on bed next to Taehyung. Left side and the doctor is on right side of Taehyung. After that, the doctor starts stitching Taehyung's hand, due to which Taehyung was bleeding continuously from his injury, and the doctor was stitching it while cleaning the blood and YN was watching Taehyung's hand drenched in blood without blinking for a moment. YN was looking at Taehyung's right hand and she was able to feel how much pain Taehyung was feeling due to the stitches on his injury. She was feeling guilty that it was because of her that Taehyung got so hurt. Seeing Taehyung in so much pain, YN had tears in her eyes. She was feeling sad that it was because of her that Taehyung was in such a C0 condition. Taehyung sees In's tear-filled eyes and understands what YN is feeling right now. He sees that In's eyes were still on the wound doctor was sewing. Taehyung covers In's eyes with his left hand so that she does not see his injury, and places In's head on his left shoulder and says, don't open your eyes until I tell you to. He says while looking her head as she obey him and nodded her head. And a drop of tears fell on Taehyung's shoulder. After half an hour the doctor stitches the wound on Taehyung's hand and says, Mr. Kim, your injury has been stitched with great difficulty. This time if this stitch opens again, then it is impossible to stitch it for the third time. So please take care of your hands. And do not let the stitch open again, otherwise it will be a big problem. Hearing the doctor's words, YN opens her eyes and sees that Taehyung's hands have been bandaged. Hearing the doctor's words, YN becomes very worried for Taehyung. Doctor says to YN, Mrs. Kim, take care of your husband and do not let him do anything with his right hand. Saying this the doctor leaves from there. After dinner they both went for sleep. In middle of the night YN always sleep to turn another side and her back facing him, but today she turned towards facing him. She saw Taehyung sleeping while his both hands are resting on his lower chest. YN says, herself in mind, I am not only hurting TAE mentally, I have also started hurting him physically. I hate myself, I don't deserve his love and care. I deserve hates only hates. Saying this, she turned another side while silently wiping her tears, which was uncontrollable for her. Suddenly she feels a warm hug from behind as she knows it was Taehyung, but her body get tensed and her breath stop for a while, but the next word of Taehyung gives her a little relief. Taehyung says, don't move, I will not do anything. YN nodded her head while controlling her sobs, which was noticeable for Taehyung because he hugging her from behind, he can feels her every inch of her body movements. He turned her towards him to face her and sees her tears. As he wiped her tears and embraced her warmly and says, your tears disturbing me. Can you stop crying? YN reply with sobs, I'm sorry. I can't control my sobs and tears. Taehyung says with a genius smile, if you let me I can stop your crying and sobs. YN lift her HAED to see him, which was resting on Taehyung's chest and at SK curiously, how, can you stop my crying and sobs? Taehyung replied with a boxy smile, let me kiss you until you stop crying.